won't change around here.
You saw the front of the building.
Terrible.
This the back of the building. They working on the front of the building. This the same people said, we gonna help you build what you want. How I'm gonna believe you, man? How I'm gonna believe them? Didn't I tell you I don't trust nobody? I'm coming over giving them the same passion and they smiling and laughing in my face. This ain't funny. We gonna ride through the fence that they ain't fixed the fence. We about to ride through this fence. This ain't even football side. This ain't even the football side. And y'all talking about bad at my Uncle Prime. Y'all mad at Dion, mad at Prime. This is every HBCU. Bro, we riding through the fence. This is track, bro. This is track. This is what they practice on. It's a straightaway. This is intramural field. You can't practice on this. These kids got this to work with. Trash. Yeah, I'm showing it. At this point, I gotta show this shit. I'm not even the head coach.
You right, don't trust nobody.
Congratulations. Man, I should go my ass home. I said I should. I ain't. It ain't happening. Cause of that lady right there. Cause of her right there. Miss Mary, you see her with the cane? Coach Kane. That's what you call me. Coach Kane is who I am. Don't cry. Do something. Y'all see these buildings right here? You see these buildings right here? Y'all see these buildings right here? This corner? Y'all see this right here? This here? This shit is abandoned right here. They're hoarding trash in this shit. All this right here is trash. From this corner all the way right here is trash. You understand me? Man, mutt your ass off here, man. What you talking about? I ain't mutting nobody. I'm trying to fix shit. What you doing? I told you somebody ain't gonna like it, bro. I told you somebody wasn't gonna like it. Do something about it, man. Come help us clean this shit up. I could have been mutting and showing shit. I chose not to. But now I'm out here walking with the football team, picking up trash. But I'm mutting us. Man, get out of here, man. I should leave. I'm not even under contract doing this. I'm mutting us? Man, get out of here, man. They mutt me. These motherfuckers didn't even clean my goddamn office when I got here. I'm mutting y'all? Get your ass, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. All this shit here was trash in front of me.
Alright, folks, let me give you my perspective from both ends of the spectrum, okay? I'm going to start with the spectrum of the people who they're they're really against this messaging, what he's saying. We'll start with them, the HBCU defenders, okay? Let's look at this, okay? Now, Ed Reed, he took this job. You got to know that the average HBCU, not all of them, but the average HBCU, it's pretty much this, okay? Now, I've been to Bethune-Cookman, and when I was there 10 years ago, it looked even worse than what it looks like now. I mean, I'm talking about it was, like, terrible, okay? Even the cafeterias were just filthy there, I mean, I'll tell you this, okay? He walked in, and he kind of knew what he was getting into. He knew that this, wasn't going to be what he thought. And I'm going to talk from his viewpoint, in a minute, guys. Just listen to the whole video, okay, before you get mad and all this other mess that, this generation like to do. He kind of knew what he was getting into. And an HBCU football program, it's just a lot of stuff that they don't do. Okay, and I get what he's saying. He wants to, change the culture. But this is what HBCUs, this is what they do. And it's sad. It's sad. I kind of feel like, me listening to this, a little bit, like, I get what he's saying. The message is very real, and the message is true. Everything he said is true. I just think he was trying to, it seemed like it was more or less like, okay, let me go ahead and get this message out here, okay? Let me get it out here, and let me just go on and do it, okay? It's like the Deion Sanders effect. And I feel like the rant is legit, but I feel like, I don't know if it's all genuine. I kind of get this feel like he feels like he too good for Bethune-Cookman. That's how I felt when I listened to the rant. Even though it was true, okay? Even though that everything he said was true, I get this feeling like he feels like he's too good for them. That kind of feeling. And, when Deion was talking about the issues, I didn't get that feeling that Deion felt that he was too good for Jackson State. I just got the issue of I felt Deion's frustration with Jackson State. And Deion's thoughts were very pure, They're real, real pure. And you genuinely saw his frustration. I feel like this frustration with Ed Reed, it's almost like, okay, well, I'm going to say this because I'm Ed Reed, I'm a Hall of Famer, I'm this and this, and I'm just going to say it, okay? And I don't really care what they say because I'm Ed Reed and I'm bigger than this. He even made a comment that, I've done more for this school in a week and a half than people done for years. And I got to ask him, okay, well, did you do more for Bethune-Cookman when they had that hurricane and all those people helped out? Did you do more? And that's my only gripe. Did you do more than those people? Because he's saying that he's done more for the school in a week and a half, which, that he said that out of pure frustration. I'm just like, come on, man, that's stupid. Now, when I talk about it from Ed Reed's side of view, people are wanting this guy to keep his mouth shut. For what? For what? Like, why can't, if you're going to hire the man, why can't you clean the man's office out? Like, seriously. Like, how come you can't even have the office ready for him? At least, I don't think Ed Reed was asking for a whole lot, okay? Just, pick up the trash and clean. Okay, the whole issue with the fence. Yeah, I agree with him 100%. Why? Okay, you guys, it's a private school. Bethune-Cookman is a private school. You guys are collecting all of this money from these students, through student fees and financial aid. And, the school still gets that money. Okay? Somebody's getting that money. The president of Bethune-Cookman, makes about $500,000 a year? So somebody, getting money. Why can't we fix the fence? Why? How come we can't fix the fence? It seems reasonable. And why does trash have to be all over the field? This dude got his football team. Him and the football team are spending their weekend cleaning up trash. I'd be pissed too. Because I'm sitting here thinking, don't you pay grounds people? I know when I was at Bethune-Cookman, I saw maintenance people. I saw grounds people. You pay those people. So why are those people not doing their job? Like, that's my question. Why? Why are the people not doing their job? It seems though, we're wasting money. If Ed Reed and the football team got to do it, why don't you pay them? That's my whole thought with this. I'm like, dang, this brother out here, he one of the coaches, okay, really ain't got his contract signed yet. They hired him, but, he ain't signed his terms. And a man out here already picking up trash, trying to get the place clean. Crazy. And these people are saying, well, why does he have to say it? It seemed like he just, he think that, he can just say this stuff. And I'm sorry for those of y'all, this snowflake generation, y'all, so everything just make you melt. Football coaches cuss. And I know, he shouldn't have said it, on Instagram in a rant. Football coaches cuss. That's what they do, okay? And, it don't seem professional. A lot of college coaches cusses. A lot of them cuss. Some of them cuss in interviews. Some of them cuss in interviews, when they mad and frustrated. He's doing the same thing. He's doing the same thing. I've heard coaches cuss. I've heard them cuss on national TV when they get mad. So, Ed Reed, I give him a pass there. He ain't doing no different than any other coach do. Why do we have to shut up about the problems? Why? Man, he disrespected Bethune-Cookman. Well, it was already disrespected when he pulled up. It was disrespected when the fence was torn up. It was disrespected when there's trash all over the fields. It was disrespected when the man can't even have a clean office, like trash all in his office. It was disrespected already before then. Trash in the middle of campus. It was already disrespected. So wait a minute. Ed Reed is disrespecting Bethune-Cookman by pointing out the problems. Nah, he can't do it by himself. See, this is the thing, man. When these high-profile football players, they come to these HBCUs, when they come, in the HBCU mind, these guys are already rich. They got money, okay? So these guys can actually help, use a platform to help the school get noticed. Use their pockets to help the school get stuff. Because that's what Deion did. Deion Sanders came out of his own pocket. And that still wasn't enough, man. You had people, wishing, hoping that Deion Sanders fail at Colorado. This man gave half of the money back that they paid him. Gave that back and told him, hey, go fix these renovations. But Ed Reed is wrong for pointing out the problems. I'm pretty sure he's going to have to come out of his pocket somewhere. I'm sure he is. I can guarantee you that this man, he's going to have to come out of his pocket to help do something. See, when Ed Reed took the job, and he's facing the frustration that a lot of these coaches have. See, the only difference is the other coaches that took the job, they probably needed that job. So they were afraid to really speak out. Ed Reed probably don't need the job, okay? But they facing the same frustrations, same thing. And probably with them, the past coaches probably had a hard time getting all the uniforms together. Probably had a hard time getting brand new equipment. I bet the weight room facility, when I was there, the weight room facilities was like, it was some rusted weights, in the side of a gym. When I visited Bethune-Cookman, okay? It was some rusty weights in the side of a gym. It was free weights. They had a squat rack and they had a bench rack, and then they had these dumbbells sitting on the side. That's it. That was their weight room. It may have changed since then, but I'm pretty sure that he's got a lot of work to do. He's got a lot of work to do to try to get sponsors in there to help build some of the stuff that he needs. Got a lot of work to do. Hell, the track. That track looked exactly the same way 10 years ago. Can you imagine not upgrading your track? Hell, Bethune-Cookman, they still running on asphalt. Guys, y'all remember asphalt? The asphalt tracks, like when we were in school, if you're 40-something? The asphalt tracks. Hell, most schools got rubberized track now, but a school is old and outdated and underfunded when they still running on an asphalt track. Bethune-Cookman is a college, y'all. That's a college. It's a college. And they got an asphalt track, a straightaway, that same straightaway track. Damn pieces of chipping away at the track. And folks, they want this man to be, jovial. Hey man, be thankful you got a job. Well man, go on and go then. If you don't want to be here, go. Well, the cycle continues. If he leaves, it'll be somebody else that take the job, and they'll just sit here and deal with it. They'll talk about it behind closed doors, and they won't say nothing because they need their job. That's what it is. Now, people are saying that Ed Reed is going to get this job at Bethune-Cookman. He's going to help them win games again, and then he's going to be off. Okay? Well, but what Ed Reed has done, believe it or not, people don't like it, but now people are talking about Bethune-Cookman. And honestly, that's why they hired him. They're not going to say anything about his rant. They're not going to say anything. That they're getting free publicity. It's free. Okay? It's free. So probably what's going to come of this, he's probably going to get a sponsor that's going to want to build something, build a track, build a fence. He'll probably get a sponsor. He'll probably get somebody to take notice of this and say, hey, you know what? Let's go ahead and rebuild that track. And rebuilding a track, it could cost anywhere from 6 figures to about, high 5 figures. It could. To rebuild a track. And to put an entire stadium in there, it could be, $1 million. To redo the whole stadium and put something in there, it costs about $1 million. Okay? He is going to need a decent football field. He's going to need a decent practice field. See, these are things that people, they don't understand. But if you're a football coach, and you know that these are the things you need, you're frustrated. You're heavily frustrated because you have to have these things. And I think, people don't really get the frustration. You have to have a decent weight room. Okay? You have to have this thing. You have to have a decent training room. And I know now when I was at Bethune-Cookman, the training room, it was this one little room in the gym, and everything was in the gym. It was this one little room in the gym, and it had a freezer there with ice in it. That was the training room. That was it. If you got injured, you went to that little training box, you took the ice out of there, you put it in a bag, and you left. That's it. That's it. They didn't give you no stems, and they didn't, do any of that stuff. They didn't, look at your ankle. They didn't stretch you out. They didn't do any of that. It was you got a bag of ice and you left. Like, folks, you have to really look at the whole synapses of what's going on. Okay, you got to look at it from Ed Reed's point of view. This man, he's used to winning, he's used to winning. And when you go to a place, and he understands that you have to build, but when you're asking this man to have 50-1 odds and you still want him to win, you asking for a lot, okay? You're asking the man you're asking him for a lot. Okay, 1-1 odds is one thing, but 1 to 1,000, yeah. And then we wonder why HBCUs can't get the recruits, okay? They can't get these recruits that they want, okay? Because nobody's going to really come. They always get the second-rate recruits. HBCU coaches, these people, they actually coach. They're actually teaching. They're not gifted with talent. I said in one of my motivational videos that a real coach can coach a team that's not built on talent, but they can build a team based on training. I say that. A real coach can actually build a team based on training and not talent. See, many of these, these bigger institutions, these Division I schools, they get the talent. They get all the talent. And so you just have to mold that talent into something. Because that talent truly was going to be successful anyway. That talent was going to go big places, whether they had a coach or not. That person who was highly talented, they could have went anywhere in the country, and they still was going to be great, okay? They still was going to be great. They still was going to be doing, great things. But unfortunately, when you get to the HBCU, you get, like, maybe instead of the first best wide receiver, maybe you get the fifth best, okay? Or maybe you get the walk-on that's got a little bit of potential, but you got to work with them, okay? That's what you got to do at HBCU, a lot of them. You have to coach. You have to legit get in there and coach, okay? You have to get in there and teach. And at the college level, I kind of chuckle because at the college level and even in the NFL level, the further away from Pop Warner you get in football, the less that you have teaching. The further away from Pop Warner you get, the less you teach. And when you get to the NFL, really, all you got is guys who just running plays. You're not really teaching that much because these are guys that they've been around the game for so long. These are guys that just learn the playbook and run the plays. And when you got a guy, excuse me, that can't run the plays or that don't play right, you don't teach that guy in the NFL. You don't try to teach him and coach him to be a better player. You just replace him. That's what happens in the NFL. You just replace that guy. So I get where he's coming from, man. And why is it? Why do all the black schools have to have messed up facilities? Why? And even if they messed up, they can be clean. They can be clean. Maybe you don't have the resources or the alumni to put that money in there, but they can be clean. And I think that's what he was ranting about. It can be clean. It don't take much to clean. And I agree, him and the football team, they shouldn't be out there picking up trash. They shouldn't if you got people at the university that do that stuff. So yeah, salute to Ed Reed for putting them out there. Put them on blast. And more coaches need to do this. Put these jokers on blast, man. Make these alumni, make these people, step up.